You're listening to Pointing Pointers, the Point to Point podcast. Good evening. Welcome to Pointing Pointers. This is episode 25. I'm Ben Atkins, and I'm delighted to say I'm joined by both Stephanie Jones and Ronan Keating. How are we getting on?
I'm good, thank you, Ben. Yeah, growing out my hair looks good, doesn't it?
It looks really good. I think you look like Leonardo DiCaprio in Titanic.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you.
What do you reckon?
High on drugs.
Yeah, no, I'd stick with the Ronan Keating reference if I was you. But how are you, Ben? Because you don't look like you're in great shape.
Oh, thanks. So for anyone watching on YouTube, I'm laid down in the lounge. So I fell down a hole, basically. I've been thinking of better excuses, but I just don't have one. I was mowing the lawn, stood on a manhole cover, had both hands on the mower, went both feet down the hole, took all the skin off one of my legs. Well, that's a bit dramatic.
No, your shin is pretty bad, yeah.
But it is quite bad. Sam's admitting it's quite bad. So I had it flushed out and stitched, and I had a couple of days in hospital. And now I'm out drinking more.
I've never known someone be in hospital for 2 days for a paper cut. That is impressive.
Yeah, it's embarrassing, isn't it? I literally said to them at every stage, I said, look, two things here, lads. I'm ginger and I'm a man, so I don't have the best pain threshold. But obviously it's important to keep it clean. It had a bit of metal in it, so they had to flush it out, etc. Anyway, enough about me.
You've got a week off then, Ben?
No, I haven't, actually. That's the irony. I'm still cracking up. When you work from your laptop for a living, it's hard to put your feet up, isn't it?
Yeah. What about you, Steph? Any weekends off?
Yeah, I had a weekend off. Yes, I did, which is right this time of year. But yeah, me and my friend went Dorset sightseeing for the weekend. So yeah, I didn't go pointing this weekend, which is rare.
Gosh.
Did you have fun?
I did. Yeah, it was nice little break. But we've got 4 weekends with 2 3-day weekends to fit into the end of the season. So just thought I need a little freshen up.
Yeah, fair enough. Good on you. So, right, lads, enough of the pleasantries. Let's get down to business. There has been, as you can imagine, at this time of year with the ground as it is, the racing hasn't been fantastic. But there has been some highlights that we can talk about. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. Ed Dogwell. So re-risen he has. Re-risen, is that right?
Resurrected, like Jesus on the
he has.
Monday,
so he's 4 of his last 5 rides have been winners. He hasn't been pointing for 6 years. And he notched up another winner for Chris Barber on Sunday. And treble the weekend before. He must be delighted. He's got a good partnership now with Chris. He moved up with Chris to Hereford when Chris moved yards, and he seems to have settled in well. It's nice that Chris is giving him the chances. No more famous Clermont last week. Great for Ed. Obviously, he's had a few rides. I think he must be in double figures now on winners. But yeah, that's 5 for this season. So yeah, he's going great guns. And I actually caught up with him earlier in the week, and this is what he had to say about his resurrection.
I'm delighted now to be joined by Ed Dogwell, who is enjoying a fruitful time in the saddle with 4 of his last 5 rides winning. Ed, how are you? Okay?
I'm very well, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, good. Thank you very much. They're like buses, these winners, aren't they?
I don't know about that. It's nice riding some quality horses, and knowing they're fit is a big help.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So let's go back to the start. And so you used to ride pointed quite a bit. Tell us a bit about your time before you went off doing other stuff for 6 years. Now you're back in the saddle. Tell us a bit about the start of it. How you got into pointed.
I got into pointing due to my father riding and his dad riding, and sort of I grew up hunting, and pointing was sort of a career path that I wanted to look at, and went to Collins Tizards when I left school. I was there for 3.5 years and moved on to Will Biddicks, which I learned a lot there and had my best season then. Had 6 winners that season. That was then my last. Just sort of got a bit heavy and sort of lost slightly interest towards the end. And then been very fortunate to be offered a role at Chris Barber's this time to get me back in the saddle.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to be given opportunities. And obviously, you moved up. Did you move up with Chris from the start when you moved to Hereford?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we moved up together. We lived with each other, so plenty of time to sort of talk about where to run horses, and also plenty of time to
fall out about rides you give horses or not.
exactly plenty of time for him to tell me off when I've done things wrong.
But it's nice, joking apart. It's nice to be like losing interest when you 6 years ago to then come back to ride proper nice horses with someone you kind of doing it together with. It must be give you a good buzz.
Oh, it's very special to do it with such a close friend, and also we bounce off each other, and I feel like we work quite well. But yeah, no, it's nice. We've got just same enthusiasm for it, and it's I think that we work quite well together. It's definitely 4 eyes looking over the horse instead of 2. I think is quite helpful for both sides. So
yeah, definitely. And like at the start of the season, obviously James was riding quite a few, and now it seems like probably James is maybe elsewhere for Luke Price, and that it looks like it's kind of dropped the opportunity for you a bit. And it's even nicer to be allowed to ride horses like Famous Clermont.
yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, up until Christmas, I rode all the runners, and then I was injured for a bit, so I had to sit on the sidelines for a couple of months. And yeah, James rode the majority of them then, and then got myself back for Maysmore, and
You kicked him out the door.
yeah. Well, I'm not sure about that, but maybe he's got commitments elsewhere. But yeah, no, very fortunate that being close to Chris, that I can I could jump straight back in the saddle and get on some nice quality horses. And yeah, very fortunate to ride Famous Clermont. Obviously, he's done very well over the years, and it's not for everyone to ride. And yeah, very fortunate to have the opportunity to do it.
Yeah, and it looked like the other day, obviously a bit disappointed at Aintree, but then come back to light. Obviously, he looked to be going to go and win that easy at the weekend, and then last weekend, and then idled the last 100 yards. Was that about right?
Yeah, that's right. He's obviously just older now, and he's very clever, isn't he? He knows what he's doing. He's probably saving himself a bit. Yeah, slightly disappointing at Aintree, but maybe the point-to-point circuit, smaller field where he can sort of dominate a bit more is maybe his sort of level now.
Yeah, and another furlough's no mug, is he? The horse he beat.
No, exactly. And he doesn't know anyone anything. He's given the owners some of their best days out, and also Chris, he's definitely put them on the map. So yeah, he doesn't need to be having necessarily hard runs and hunter chases. I'm sure he's quite happy to run around point to points where he enjoys himself.
Yeah, and going forward, then rest of the season, you got many horses more to run, or is it quieting down a little bit?
Yeah, we've got a handful still to run. It's Steph across a road, one for which my parents and their close friends own. He'll probably have another couple more runs, and very fortunate he won. My grandfather died on Monday, so it was nice to have a winner in his colours, which I haven't done before. So it was quite nice. Quite nice for that to happen, and they're quite keen to keep running their horse for the rest of the season, I think. So, and then there's a handful there. There isn't a massive bunch, but some fun horses still to run.
Perfect. And next year you're not going to go back off farm, and you're going to stay with Chris. So now you got the bug back.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's quite happy for me to stay up here. If as long as the success continues, he's got no reason to have me back.
Yeah, and you're not going to go off fly fishing like you're doing now, and not going to take that up as a profession, are you?
Oh well, as of the last half an hour, I don't think I'm quite good enough to do that. I've lost half the flies, so I don't think that's not a career choice as yet.
But another question that I always ask people, sometimes when they related to hunting. Hunting, obviously, a big part of your growing up. Do you think that's helped you in kind of with your riding towards point to point in the racing?
Hunting's a massive part of growing up. Dad hunting the Blackmore Vale for 14 years, and yeah, I suppose it was. It's a great way to learn to ride, and the Blackmore Vale country it's a tough country to cross. It's the connections also help because you get to meet a lot of people in the hunting field, and but yeah, riding wise, I would say so.
Yeah,
for sure.
Sharp, haven't you?
Got to be sharp. Yeah, obviously, Dad hunting hounds was. You have to be extra sharp. There was plenty of times I was getting the tellings off. So yeah, yeah, I haven't managed to get too much hunting in as the last year because focused on getting the yard going forward. Obviously, moving up to Herefordshire for the Chris and I this time, it was a lot of pressure.
Yeah, definitely.
As the first season up here, so we didn't have much time off, but it's paid off now anyway.
Yeah, and it takes a while. Like the horses are going well, it takes a while to get used to the new yard, doesn't it, and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. We were quite keen not to change. Obviously, changing the yards, he's quite keen not to change too many things, but it's still, you still have to work out, the routine, and it's a fine line of getting them fit and doing too much, and the new system, the new facilities, just need to take time to work it out. But thank God he's as talented as he is, and he's worked it out quite quickly, and we've had the results.
Just because you give him a compliment, he's not going to give you more rides. All right. No, joking apart. No, you've both been doing a good job. So, but no, well done. Keep up. When's your next ride? You going to keep the winning run going, or?
Fingers crossed. Got a couple this weekend. Either they're entered both at Fleet Park and South Hill, but haven't decided which way we're going yet. So hopefully one of them puts his head in front. But yeah, who knows?
All right, top man.
Who knows?
Brilliant. Well, thanks for joining us, and yeah, well done again. Keep it up. All right.
Thank you very much.
Top man.
Cheers.
As you know, my favourite horse on the pointing field is Kilfillan Woods, and I've often spoken about the rising talent that is Clara Brewitt, and both of these horses have continued to prove. Both of these things.
That's pretty rude, mate. She's a really nice girl, actually.
Both of them have continued to prove that I am a judge, Sam. Not only does the horse keep bolting in for fun, she keeps banging in winners, and she's going to win the novice title, isn't she?
Yeah, it looks that. Wow. You say that. She's one clear of Marina, and I think Marina's her two horses love quicker ground. So she's on 6 winners, Marina's on 5. So Marina looks. Yeah, it is. It's going down to the wire, like Willie Mullins, Dan Skelton. But I feel like Clara Brewitt's maybe a bit more of the Dan Skelton going into it, leading by 1, but she's maybe going to war with a feather duster. So not too sure. But I had a chat with Clara as well earlier in the week about her season so far and her plans. And yeah, hopefully she can get a few rides. She puts a little plea out to anyone wanting to give us a ride for this next few weeks. So yeah, here's Clara now.
I'm delighted now to be joined by Clara Brewitt, who added to her tally to make it 6, and she takes the lead in the leading lady novice rider title for the season on 6 winners when she rode Kilfillan Woods at the weekend. Clara, sorry to interrupt you on your holiday. Whereabouts are you?
I'm in Costa del Sol.
God, it's all right for Sam, isn't it? It's all right when you get to the top, isn't it? Hey?
I wish.
But that has been good. Obviously, Fran and Charlie quite well from being around at that area when they were at Dan's, Kilfillan Woods. That was a nice ride to pick up.
Oh, it was a lovely spare to pick up. I couldn't quite believe that he was asking me to ride one of his, so I took the opportunity and made the most of it.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, definitely. Like you have with some of your other rides this season as well. Obviously, Tom Britton, 6 wins this season. Tom Britton's been a big part of that with Ocean Drifter. He seems a lovely horse to ride.
Yeah, he's a fantastic horse to ride, and I learned plenty on him. And yeah, he tells me what to do, and it's brilliant to get to sit on a horse as good as him.
Definitely, yeah. And you've been pointing now of 2 seasons, is that right?
Or maybe 3.
3?
Yeah.
3 seasons. So you left. Tell us a bit about kind of your background, how you got into pointing. Where did you start off? What did you do when you were younger?
So my family have always been in hunting, racing. My dad hunted the Readyfield Bloodhounds for a season, so I used to take my pony with him and just used to jump hedges and all sorts like that. So kind of got the bug from doing that, and that's always what I've wanted to do. So I went to Skelton's for a couple of seasons, and I had my own pointer there. He was a 10-year-old maiden. He wasn't much good, but he got me round, and
he was all right.
Yeah, he was okay. He was good fun, and yeah, since then I moved to Rowley's because they're more of a pointing yard, and yeah.
Haven't looked back. Do you enjoy it at Fields? It must be quite a good yard to be at for what you want to do.
Yeah, it's brilliant. There's a mixture of horses there, from the young ones to the old ones, and yeah, plenty of learning at home there. And Yogi Breisner comes in and helps with the schooling, so always learning.
Perfect, brilliant. That is good. And then also, obviously, you then rode a bit for Phil as well. You had a couple of winners on Perryville. One last season and one this season. Is that right?
Yeah, he's been a great horse. He didn't thrive under rules and seemed to really enjoy pointing. So no, he's been great fun, and he won his maiden and I won my maiden together, so that was good.
That is good. And then going forward, obviously, the rest of the season, you're in a kind of title battle like Willie and Dan against Marina. It looks like she's on 5 winners, so she's one behind you. Have you got many more horses to go at?
Not really. I'm just constantly looking for any spare rides, really. And I want to give it a good go, but I'm really happy with how it's gone this season. So it's not the end of the world.
Yeah. So if anyone's listening, get on the phone, basically.
Yeah, please.
Right. It comes out on Friday, so it might be a bit late by then, but maybe for next weekend. But no, that's brilliant. Thanks for joining us, and yeah, well done on a great season. You're going great guns, and yeah, good luck for the rest of the season. Hopefully, we might talk to you at the end of the year.
Thank you very much.
No worries.
Great stuff. Great to hear from Clara. Now, Steph, you love a PPRA race, naturally. You know, being the
You actually haven't thanked the sponsors, Ben.
oh yeah, thanks to the PPRA and
the second line, mate, on the sheet. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not doing much reading tonight. So, Steph, you love a PPRA race, and we all love Ed Vaughan, but quite an interesting little result this time around. One question I do have before you get into that: what are the conditions of this race? Because I thought they were for kind of grass. They're not all grassroots. Then, if Josh was riding one and Hugh Edwards is riding one,
No, it wasn't a grassroots race. It was a PPRA conditions race. They're not all grassroots. PPRA conditions could be put on to any race, a maiden. The Kilfillan Woods was a PPRA race as well. So you can put PPRA members' conditions on any race.
Fine.
And in return, the fixture is paid. Yes, yeah. So it's open to any members. It's not got any. If the fixture then decides to make more complicated conditions, then that's up to them. But this particular race did have a unique condition written in the planner regarding novice riders, that if you were not a novice rider, you would carry a £5 penalty. Therefore, Ed should have weighed out at 12.5. And he weighed out at 12 stone. He weighed back in at 12 stone. However, it came clear after the race that he should have actually been carrying the penalty.
And was it tight?
The finish.
Yeah.
Arse die, yeah? At Woodford?
Yes, correct, yeah.
1.5 lengths. So Sam Burton was carrying 12 stone 5 because he is not a novice rider. And then obviously Ed was carrying 12 stone.
Yeah. So
interesting.
Yeah. So then we come down to the discussion of whose fault was it? Was it the clerk of the scales who weighed them out wrong in the first place? Is it the jockey's responsibility to know the weight? Is it the owner/keeper who declared the horse on the declaration sheet with the incorrect weight? It's
It's neat. It's none of them. It's whoever printed the race card, because I imagine on the race card it was said 12 stone. So I imagine it's the other PPA or Weatherby's that have got it wrong.
Well, I don't know what the race card did say. I would have thought. No, I don't know. I expect just 12.5.
Sorry, Steph. We both just agreed with Sam that it was the wrong race. He's looking at the race at Woodford. It is not that one, Sam.
It is the Woodford race.
You're going on about your
Ben.
Maybe is the morphine kicking in again?
Are you okay?
No. I'm just looking at this. You just referenced Sam Barton, the horse, which is the horse that was in the men's open at Woodford.
Sam Burton is the jockey, Ben.
Oh, well, that is confusing. And you can see how we got in a pickle, can't you?
No, you got in a pickle. Why don't you just keep over there on your bed and just keep...
Yeah, be quiet and let me and Sam knock this one out.
Right.
So Arse die, yeah. So I imagine in the planner, they wouldn't have weighed him out at 12 stone if in the planner, in the race card, it said 12.5. I can't imagine.
However, well... when the owner went and declared, what did they write on the declaration sheet?
Whatever it said in the race card, which is what I would do. And if they knew that it should be carrying 12.5, they would still write 12 stone because they can get away with it.
So you are putting the blame on Weatherby's?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, of all the people that could take the blame here, I'd like to blame them. So let's blame them.
Well, yeah, I don't
I
actually
probably think, are you going to go? I know some people would say, oh, no, I've got to carry £5 extra. Even in the race card, it says I've got to carry 12 stone. I know some people would. However,
yeah.
no.
I hadn't really thought about the race card Weatherby's issue being where the wrong weight had come from. As far as from, I don't know, a industry standard, it is you are supposed to know your weight that you are weighing out at, and you are supposed to know the conditions of the race that you're riding in, and whether you're allowed to claim or not claim. So that is on you, and on your keeper declaring you. So
Agreed. However, you'd have to be an extremely honest person to say, I want to carry £5 more.
even though the race card says I don't have to. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, no,
What I would have done when I was riding.
Yeah, but also if it was me, I thought there's a small risk that afterwards you might lose a race or get fined or whatever. Then
because ultimately at the end of the day,
morals you'd say anyway, wouldn't you?
Yeah, at the end of the day, unfortunately, it doesn't matter which the reason is. The rules are the rules, and he will lose the race. So
I don't think he will.
he will.
Will he?
Mm.
I think that's incorrect if he loses the race, because that's a cock up by Weatherby's and people wearing him in and out. That's not very fair.
I think the rules are clear in terms of it being your responsibility to ensure that you are the correct weight as per the conditions of the race.
I like that we've got to the first talking point and we can't agree. It's fantastic. What we're here for.
There's nothing new there, Sam.
No.
There's a reason that we tend to have you on, Steph, when Sam can't come on, you know?
Yeah, well, sorry. We're going to click tonight instead.
Right, well, let's move on. Let's talk about the title battle, because this is going to end up quite exciting. And Sam, a nod to your former employer, Dan, who I think has made the last week for National Hunt Racing extremely fun for all involved. You know, Willie was gracious. He's a gracious winner, but Dan was a great sport in defeat, I thought.
Yeah, I suppose it's all how you take those defeats, isn't it? It's similar to, it's very similar to kind of this and kind of last year as well, how people try and drive forward when you get beaten. That's what it's all about. It's, in racing, you're going to lose more times than you're going to win. And yeah, it was good. It was a good battle. And as you say, for National Hunt fans, it was great. And, this is exactly the same for pointing. It keeps us engaged right up to the final day of the season. Gina and Josh are still level on the trainers. Now James and Josh are now separated by one win. Yeah, it's a shame that kind of at the end of the season, we don't have a day like Sandown point to point anymore. We used to have Umberley, and it seems a bit strange now. If you're going to have two, maybe you're going to have Gina go to Chadsley and you're going to have Josh go to Upcut Cross on the final day, and no one knows what's going on at other places because we don't have live results. Actually, you could do it now. You've hurt your leg. You could actually sit at home on your computer.
Well, you did do it last year for us, didn't you, Ben?
Yeah, you really enjoyed that, man.
I'm gonna need some
money.
I'm gonna need pay. No, I'm gonna need some, I think we've worked out that isn't the case, Sam. We've been at this 5 years for now.
Yeah.
No, I think I would like some moral support. I need some we don't really do YouTube comments. I need at least 10 people to pat me on the back and tell me that I've got to do it before I do it. So I'll leave that with our loyal listeners.
Mate, we don't get 10 listeners.
And this is something that we will agree on, Sam, so that's good. But I do think there should, I understand the whole Umberley arguments and why that doesn't work any longer, but I do think that Bank Holiday Monday, if you are calling that the season finale and that is the end, there should only be one meeting, and that everyone should be encouraged to therefore run at the final event, and that that your champion is going to be there and you're going to be crowned on that day. It was last year it seems so sad not to be able to celebrate it fully and really know that you've nailed it. We were obviously on the phone all the time of what's happening at Chadsley, and it went right down to the last couple of races.
The results were published wrong, weren't they? So
It was awful. Like the whole
You
stress.
thought you hadn't won, and then you had one, and then you hadn't, and it wasn't even my fault. Though, like it went up different on the website to what I'd said, which was correct. And
Yeah, and we had one, and it was great. But there's it's not the same fanfare as what you'd get as if, and I think, champion jockeys felt that as well. Like it would be nice if it was all at one event. And, I'm not saying that has to be Upcut. I'm not saying it has to be Chazzy. I think, to be honest, if we did it in a similar way to that they do on, you would actually pitch commercially to say, we want to be the last fixture of the season and we deserve it because of X, Y, Z. And then the PPA can take on the best fixture as being the last one rather than it,
Yeah. And they can offer what they're going to do for the final day, and you can have it as the final day of the season and get everyone there, and it would be a big old shindig. But instead, no. But it probably wasn't thought about, to be honest. When Umberley was cancelled or cut off to the final day of the season, I bet this wasn't even thought about.
I understand that they want to give everyone a chance to run their fixtures and that sort of thing. But the way racing has been of late, there's too much racing for the number of horses that there are. And if we can't be agile enough to recognize that, then, when it's just not going to work. And you can't keep saying, oh, but because they want to run a fixture and they're willing to put in the volunteers and, we should let them run.
It's bad for racing, isn't it? Look at that last week.
Yeah, five runners up north across the whole day. Like, that's not good for anyone. It's not good for the fixture. It's not good for the volunteer, and it's certainly not good for pointing. And I just think that, unfortunately,
the landowner, I suppose, less horses going across his ground, he's getting the same money. Lovely.
Yeah, he's probably the only one who's benefited. But all the time and effort that goes into prepping that course, even they can't have been pleased. So I just, I think
I don't even think the ground's really a factor of this anymore.
No, and I appreciate that the current climate and the weather that we're having isn't ideal, and some people have tipped out some of their horses because they're not going to hold on for the rain or they don't want quick ground, and I do understand that, but we are in a position where we can be more agile than under rules racing, and I think that we have the opportunity to be braver in our fixture list.
Yeah, it needs a big old reboot. That's another thing that's 2-1 now.
Woo-hoo!
All right, that's 2-1. We agree. Ben, we're moving on. We've agreed.
Let's move on quickly. So I've got another one for you. Should we? I was just thinking about this alongside the championships. Should we, given the current ground situations, should we really have a champion horse award? Is it encouraging people to run horses too much?
Steph, you go first.
Yeah. Look, we have two of the leading horses on the sheet, so it's tricky to say no. I don't think we should, but I actually don't think we should. I would love to see our awards mirror those of under rules. I think we should be awarding owners, trainers, and jockeys for their efforts. I think individual horses, I think you are encouraging too much pressure on an individual personally. And you're reliant on your own on your keepers and your owners to know when enough is enough. And we're very fortunate, we've got good people, and you'd like to think that they would always put the horse first, but there always comes a time when you're winning and you think, oh yeah, but we could just have one more and we'll win. And I just don't think it's the best award.
Right.
Which might go down great in my my thoughts.
Turkey's voting for Christmas.
I don't know.
I
don't know. I'm perplexed. That's a good question. I think it's nice to be able to award a horse
for his achievements, yeah, but do you think?
I completely agree. Yeah, this time of year when you run them,
it is nice to run
7 days between each weekend, isn't it? I suppose.
And also, what's the best horse when if you've won right from, say, both Clondor J and our Captain from the bottom all the way through, lovely. But what about an open horse who's won 3 classy opens? Do you know? Like, I don't know what is the best horse of the year is done on number of
I've
wins.
got an idea. Solved it for you, lads. Just do it as a public vote, like horses, like, pointing people's favourite horse, because that'll factors all that stuff in, because people will have maidens that have gone all the way that they're really fond of. Other people will have horses that, and we just do it as a public, just do it like a show.
Well, you offer 8 selections.
Yeah.
And then just go and everyone can nominate a horse, or certain people can nominate a horse. Each trainer nominates one horse each, for example, and gives the reasons. And it's like this one because it's showed the most improved form, or this one because he's come back from injury, or this one because he's won 6 on the bounce, or this one because he's beaten loads of classy horses in opens, but he's only won twice and whatever.
Yeah, and I totally agree. And that's something that is obviously done at the ROA Awards under rules. And therefore, like they're public voted. They are based on National Hunt ratings or flat ratings as well. But they're public votable. They're not on number of wins or trying to encourage you to overrun your horse. So, I'm not sure about that award, to be honest. And we also have 18 awards being presented at the awards this year. That's a lot.
Right, and why are we National Horse Champion horses done? Why are we splitting the boys and the girls?
Don't know. It must be a thing over time, is it? Why are we? Sam, come on, fill us in. What's the history?
Well, I just feel I'm asking you the question. But I feel you need to, I think you still need to split boys and girls for point to pointing, because there's not enough girls that would get the opportunity to ride as many winners as the boys and be competitive and get like a runners up prize. Once Gina goes, I can't see them being close to being the first, second, or third girl if you did it that way.
Yeah, and I do understand that, because in pointing we still have ladies races and men's races. We still split boys and girls all the way through the season all the time, boys and girls, ladies races, men's races. So I sort of do get why there's a men's champion and a ladies champion. And a men's novice and a ladies novice. I think you look like the lads are on double figures, I think, aren't they? And Clara and Marina are on 6 and 5. So yeah,
I think if you did the same thing, if you did it mixed gender, can I say that word?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Just checking. You never know these days. That it's better.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree. I just think it is odd that then when you graduate and you move into under rules, and obviously something that racing promotes a lot is it's all equal, men and women, same playing field, same, pointing isn't quite like that. And I'm not saying it should be at all. I'm just saying that it is different.
So, social shout out. We're trying to be consistent with some of our very inconsistent weekly features. I was reading another credit where it's due. I was reading another GB pointing thing the other day on Instagram, and it is incredibly detailed for the breeding and form nerds out there. It's very good stuff that Paddy and Harry are putting out. I just think it's really good. If you're not following already, you should be. Obviously, we've spoken about GB pointing, and this is GB pointers, I believe, is the handle. So add it and keep up to date with what those good horses are doing under rules. It's not easy doing that work, and I think Paddy's also briefing the ITV team. I abruptly managed to delegate that job out to Paddy, and they're briefing the ITV team on a Thursday or Friday for the pointers that are running under rules on Saturday. So it's all getting very neatly tied in a bow, and it's they're doing a great job. So good old Paddy John.
Paddy John.
Is he actually called Paddy John?
Sure, I don't know.
Speaking of credit where it's due, Sam, I gave James King a very nice text message the other day. He's a chief wind-up merchant, as you know, but I said credit where it's due. That was a hell of a ride on Pink Eye Pedro. Won at Chepstow for Di Brace in the Hunter Chase there the other night. Did you see that?
I did, yeah.
Unbelievable. What a little horse. And it was a great ride, to be fair.
Yeah.
The comment I made to James was something along the lines of, something along the lines of, I can give someone no other compliment other than when the horse that you've backed is cantering and you're looking behind thinking, oh no, he's riding that one. It's like, it's a bit like Sean Bowen at the moment. He might be 4 lengths down in 5th position, but you can't ride him off until the line. And it's very similar with James the other night. He gave it a great ride, and what a little horse. Yeah. Won it at the age of 6 and came back and won it at the age of, won it at the age of 7, sorry, and came back and won it at the age of 14. Remarkable.
Good effort, that is. Is that another plug for the ride of the weekend then?
Yeah, I think it could be. This is it. So there's a few contenders. There's obviously anything that Sean Bowen rode, but he's not pointing jockey, so we have to let him off.
But he was a pointing graduate. So
But he was, and I've made that point on Nick's show last week. The James, obviously, it was in a Hunter Chase, so I'm not sure it counts for Rider of the Week. By the way, we're saying Rider of the Week like it's a regular feature. We've just started it today.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would give that to James, but Hunter Chases maybe don't count. What about Jack Andrews on Lift Me Up? It was quite a tight finish, being a very good horse at Garth. I thought much improved.
Yeah, it was a tight finish. Yeah, he tracked Carito to the boss the whole way, kind of, and then pounced after the last. And yeah, I thought it was typical. Jack's quite a patient rider, but yeah, it was a good ride. Lift Me Up is a horse that he likes a bit of better ground. He seems to be, really turning the corner. I think he goes to the Horse and Hound Cup next, so hopefully he can win and we can get Christian Horner on here. I did actually try for this week's, but he's currently on his way to Miami for the Formula One, so I thought he had better things to be doing than
possibly
speaking to me. So, but no, another great ride from Jack. He had a double at the weekend. It's nice. He's had a quiet year, Jack, but yeah, he's kicking in a few winners now. So yeah, good.
I'd ask you, Steph, but you'll just say one of Josh's, so we'll move on. Is there any other business?
This weekend, racing, bank holiday weekend, we go into Fleet Park, Godstone, South Hill, Dingley, Iton, Water Hill.
Water Hill. That's our place. Water Hill.
Are you German, Sam?
Water Hill.
Water Hill.
Water Hill, and Mollington and Widden Castle. Oh no, I've changed.
Right. I must say though, like, I know we've already covered it, but that's a long list, isn't it?
You got anything positive to say, Stephanie?
Well, I'm just frustrated. Like, it's a long list of fixtures over a bank holiday weekend where we're struggling for horses. And I don't have the answers. I don't think you can rock up 2 weeks before and be like, nah, that's it. We're going to cull some fixture. I don't really know what the solution is, but to try and be more dynamic with knowing that the horse numbers are down, hunt certs are down, how you can help that, like, I don't know, joint fixtures, or I don't know what the answer is, but I just think that's a hell of a long list with the potential to have a hell of a lot of crap racing.
Yeah, I think the thing I would say here is obviously the horse population is down, and then you add in
down. Pointing is down.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Sorry. So hunt certificates are down. There is an awful lot of fixtures across, particularly weekend, Easter weekend and bank holiday weekends. But then if you add the extra layer of the unique weather patterns that we seem to be getting more consistently now, that is just it's one thing too many that we can't really account for. I think so. I think like you say, I don't think there's anyone out there that doesn't think that the fixture list does need trimming slightly. And I think it's fair on the basis that these unique sort of weather patterns are only going to become more regular, and we just don't have the headroom to be losing, 10 horses a fixture. They become very, very bad racing very quickly.
Yeah, and I don't want to be, I'm not saying, try not to be a negative Nancy and being like, right, let's just pull the fixture list to fit the horse population. Ultimately, we need to be doing something to improve the horse number of hunt certs to, fill these races as well. And I think we're probably not, in my opinion, doing enough in that area, actually. I'm not sure. It's a very expensive hobby, and it's a very, or semi-professional hobby, whatever you want to call it, for amateurs to start. And I just think we need to be able to help them source and find horses that are suitable to have a go. And I'm not quite sure we've got that bit right yet. And, I'd love to do a bit more work with Goffs in the upcoming horse and training sales to be able to identify exactly clearly in the catalogue what can go pointing and at what level, because it's a bloody minefield, especially when they're coming from Ireland.
Yeah, that's an interesting point.
Good idea, Steph. Yeah, another great point made.
Why Goths? Why aren't you going to work with Tats as well? What have you
Oh,
got-
I don't have anything
what
against.
about what have you got against Thoroughbred? Why do you hate Thoroughbred so much?
No, Thoroughbred, I don't. I only mentioned Goffs because Goffs is the upcoming next horse and training
I'm
sale.
going to ring Shirley right now and tell her you hate her. Shirley,
Well, she won't
that's me,
believe
no.
it. So, no, I just think it would
Would
be
be a
good.
good idea. That would, if they did that, that would be really helpful.
Yeah, but
It takes someone a long time to figure that out.
yeah, exactly. Do you know why it hasn't happened, Sam? It's because you can't agree on the the electrical mechanics of being able to say that horse is in, that horse is out, because there are so many variations in terms of a grade A, grade B in Ireland, class ones, class twos, all the conditions, that it would take a human person to say, yes, that can go, no, that can't. And guess what? There is not one person that wants to be responsible for that and saying, I said
Sounds
it.
like you're volunteering. Well done, you.
Well done, Steph.
What are you going to charge them?
No, I'm not the authority. I'm not the person who makes the rules, so I can't be the one that says it can or can't go racing.
Can't even update the leaderboard every week, so how are they going to do that?
Sam, that was naughty, Sam.
No,
We're not saying this is the responsibility of the PPA.
Oh, sorry. No, we're not.
I am
Well,
actually.
Weatherby's actually the leaderboard.
It has to be. It has to be who makes the rules. I'm assuming it's the BHA and the PPA who agree on the rules and the conditions of what horses can come from under rules back pointing.
Yeah.
And they have to be able to agree what that means. And when you're told to ring Weatherby's to check a particular horse on whether it can or can't go, and the poor person on the end of the phone at Weatherby's is like, I don't know. It's no good. It needs to be clearer. It needs to be so set in stone that you can actually look at your catalogue and go, yeah, that can go. And I want it in the catalogue. I want in the catalogue for it to say GB pointing eligible.
Yeah, no, it's a good idea. It's a very good idea. Sam, I'm just intrigued as to what you're trying to find in your notebook here.
I'm just looking through to try and get a positive point after Steph's run.
So we're determined, Sam, to end after all that on a positive note. And luckily, it's the Hunter Chase evening this Friday, which is a great evening, isn't it? Similar time every year. Great fun. Usually sunny, I notice, and at the home of jumps racing, Cheltenham. So at the moment, we don't have decks, but by the time this podcast goes out, we will. And we are going to catch up now with our future selves and chat through declarations. Joe Hill, if it's winners we want, not just opinions, it's you that we come to. How are you getting on?
Yeah, good. Thanks. Not too sure about the winners part. I'm sure Sam would be better than me, but I can give it a go for you.
I'm not sure actually. In fact, let's put his lucky 15 up at the start of this section so we can get that out of the way, and then it'll give us a few horses to avoid, won't it?
Yeah, very good idea.
So Sam's lucky 15 was Barton Snow in the first. He only got as far as the first 4 races, it has to be said. Oh no, hang on, no. So Barton Snow in the first. In the third race, Douglas Longbottom. In the fourth race, the 6:20 Music Drive fancies that to beat Gracchus de Balm. Big shout.
Yeah.
And walking out of Les Jeffords in the Mayor's Open and Chase. So if you want to make loads of money following Sam's lucky 15, that's what you got to do, Joe. However, you're a better judge. What do you fancy? Sorry, a bit of an open-ended question, I realise. Let's just go through the card, shall we?
Yeah, good idea.
The Ottle Green Open Hunter's Chase, the 4:35, heading the market. We've got Barton Snow at 11-8, a Jet of Our Own 2-1, Franjanane at 6-1, and 9-1. Bar those, what do you fancy?
Yeah, I'm going to be quite boring and agree with Sam. I think Barton Snow will take a lot of beating. Obviously, JJ was on a couple of weeks ago after the Fox Hunters winner, and he said that about how much speed this horse has. I think he probably, I think if they ran the race back at Stratford, I do actually think Viraflay could get the better of him if they ran again. But he was the best horse there on that day. Viraflay's backed the form up very well. Obviously at Kempton. Got a lot of respect for Jet of Our Own. He obviously won the race last year, but he won the race last year on sort of soft, nearly heavy ground.
Yeah.
It's going to be good ground tomorrow. I think Barton Snow just have that bit more speed because Jet of Our Own literally got there in the Dying Strides last year. Granted, his last run at Aintree was absolutely fantastic, and Fred Phillips and Stowe must have had a hell of a ride on him because he finished fifth. He ran out of his skin, and that was a career best. But I'd have to be with JJ on this one and go with Barton Snow. I think he said also on your podcast about how much speed he's got. He won Champions Day, didn't he? The big schooling race, the big gallop race they have before Nightwick. So he obviously does have a lot of speed, doesn't he?
Yeah, exactly. I'd struggle to disagree with both of you, to be honest. It's boring, isn't it? But I think he's actually a hell of a price as at 11-8. I wouldn't quite say you're buying money, Joe. I wouldn't want to encourage anyone to be irresponsible, but 11-8 is a good price. Anyone who's a bit of an each way punter, I think Amber Jackson Fennell does really well with these type of races, and she's got plenty of experience compared to some of the riders in this race. And Bob Rayleigh at 9-1 could hit the frame, couldn't he? There's only two places there.
To the 2 or 2,
Okay, the 5-10. The Venator Sports Travel Intermediate Point-to-Point Hunters Chase. Clash Hill 10-3 at top of the market. Mumbo Jumbo Gina 10-3 also. Snapfish trained by brought by the deadly combination of Mr. Robbie David and trained by Harry Ryle also 10-3. The consistent Nigel Padfield trained Paggio's Legacy. Got a feeling that did really well last year, didn't it? At this same meeting, did it win? Or
he was third in intermediate final last year in the same race.
Yeah, I haven't gone completely mad. Important notice of Newman's is in there as well, and a few other good horses. Anything you fancy?
Yeah, really boring, but really fancy Clash Hill. I've been very impressed with him this year. Not seen him much, to be honest. I didn't see him at his first 2 horse heats, but he got the job done nicely at High the last time out. And he also beat Mumbo Jumbo when giving him £5 at Gillsborough early on in the year. I think that I think probably like the Ellis camp would probably rather another go that day because I think that it wasn't the quickest time in the world, and I think Clash Hill probably just had that little bit more speed than Mumbo Jumbo. But I think Clash Hill is he's very versatile. He's won on good ground most of his runs. Horse Heath is an undulating track, so that won't worry him. High East is an undulating track, that won't worry him. Alex Chadwick can't ride because he's banned, which is a shame for him. But Dale Peters claiming 3 isn't a bad substitute, and because of that, Clash Hill's meeting him £8 better than he did at Gillsborough, and that's an awful lot of weight. And Dale's fantastic value for £3. Just one interesting fact: no horse has ever won the intermediate final after they've won a Hunter Chase already. That may well be wrong, but I'm fairly sure that it's not.
If there's one thing I look for in a fact, Joe, is that it may well be wrong. So I'm pleased to hear that. That is a great stat. I hope you're right. Let's move on.
I know that a couple of times when we've been lucky enough to win the race that a horse has been in there that has won before, and we've come out on top. And I see if James Claremont had won one, and he obviously got beaten in the race he pulled up. But an each way bet, though, I'd say is important notice. He's probably massively overlooked. Because it is a very competitive race, but he got beat last time out. Yeah, but he got beat 6 lengths by Macklin. That isn't bad form at all. Before that, he won a very good race at Chazzy Corbett, and he won at Chipley Park in a Hat Canter. Granted, most of his best form is on soft ground, but he is a horse with Josh has sort of made no secrets about the fact he hasn't got fantastic wins. So I don't see any reason why the better ground wouldn't worry him. Would worry him at all. I think he should be fine with it. He'd probably be an each way bet. He's probably just a little bit forgotten in there, but I think it's a really good, rock solid intermediate final. And if sort of 4 or 5 of them that you could see being banged there coming around the last bends.
Yeah, and do you know what? The whole card's pretty good. So let's keep going. The quarter to 6, the Junior Jumpers Open Hunter Chase. Fairly famous at the top of the market with Douglas Longbottom. They're 9 and 4 and 5 to 2 respectively. Alaphilippe for Zach Baker, for now trained by Mrs. A. Slatter. And Reggie Palace has got a dark horse in this, hasn't he? Walk Away. I think he was a bit upset with Sam last time for putting one of his up. So yeah, apologies in advance, Reggie. Yeah, that's a good price, isn't it, for a horse that's got a bit of back class?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he is 12. That's the only thing. He hasn't run for an awful long time. He's only had 2 runs this year. I'm not sure if that's by design or not, but yeah, he's not a bad horse. Maybe on his Irish form he handles cut a little bit better, but Reggie's no mug and he knows what he's doing.
What about the sorry, Joe, to interrupt your flow there. What about the have you heard of this Izzy Hill? Alan Hill? They've got a horse here, little horse called Learnt a Lot. Any good?
Yeah, this has been a long-term plan. You know, Izzy won on the horse at Stratford last year, and she literally got off him, and she said, "I'd love to aim him for this race." 3 mile 1 on good ground. Like, you know, we got the ground, which is perfect. He's very good fresh. He won last year. I think it was off 54-day break when he won at Stratford last year, and that was a massive improvement from any form he'd shown for us before. He won very well at Frieshof start of the year. He beat Wild Romance. He's the only horse to beat Wild Romance in a point-to-point this year. He was second last time out in a match. No disrespect to Tully's Touch. You know, he's a fantastic horse, and we did get beat by him fair and square on the day, but it was only 2 lengths. We missed the last, and it was a 2-run race. It didn't really suit us at all. We had to make our own running. This has been the aim for a long time. He's really come in his coat. His work has been fantastic at home, and we very much think he's a spring horse. So we're very much looking forward to him. To be honest, though, it probably is a more competitive race than it has been in recent years. You know, with the 2 horses at the top, with Fairly Famous and Douglas Longbottom. You know, Fairly Famous is a very good rock solid horse. He's sort of been here and done it. He's won here the last 2 years. Interesting first time cheek pieces with him. And also he has a tongue strap back on. And if you look through his form, he probably hasn't always been at his best with a tongue strap on. They've put it on in the past and then taken it off him. So that'd be interesting to see how he handles that. But like, he's the rock solid horse. He's got the form in the book. We've got sort of form that ties in with him. Last match he got just touched off by Tully's Touch. But again, like, he's a rock solid horse. He's won it the last 2 years. He's only 8. But it will be a good race with him. And like I say, Douglas Longbottom, massive improver this season. He'll handle the ground. He was disappointing last year when he ran under rules at Chepstow in the Dunraven Bowl, but you could probably forgive him that. He was only a 6-year-old, but he's taken his form to another level this year, and it's a really proper up to scratch standard of this race.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
Yeah, in recent years it hasn't been quite strong. You know, even Glenmount down at sort of 10 to 1 is probably not a bad each way bet. He's won his last 2. He's a very progressive horse. He's only 7 as well. So it really is a very very good race, and it'd be a hard race to pick the winner of, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's it, and the prices reflect that. You've taught me into backing Learnt a Lot, so beers are on you. Beers are on me if it wins. Still not sure. I'm
at Cheltenham on a stag do tomorrow, so
good luck.
If he gets beat, I might have no friends for the rest of the weekend.
You make that sound like that's an irregular occurrence on a stag do, Joe, and I'm sure that's true. It's one of those races you just really wish it was 8 runners. B Coward did very well with just a few horses there, and Douglas Longbottom's been a bit of a star. You have to respect everything Gina runs, you've taught me into Learnt a Lot. So let's move on. We are well deep into this by now. We're only on the 4th race. 6:20. We can keep this fairly brief, I guess. Crackers the Barm or Music Drive, or are we silly to write off Macklin?
Probably would be silly to write off Macklin. He's only had a couple runs this year. Probably the drier winter probably hasn't helped him so much, but he was good at Buckfastleigh last time out. And he's just a good rock solid horse in general, to be fair. He sort of shows up and runs his race every time. At the prices and at the weights, you'd probably have to back Music Drive at 2 to 1 over Crackers the Barm 11 to 10, because he's getting £6. Their form is probably very similar. Music Drive probably is a bit fresher. But look, it's a rock solid race, and I mean, like, 3 fantastic horses in there, and Yeah, I mean, if you want to have a bet, have a bet. But it's probably one of those races just to watch. In all honesty,
Yeah,
you've got to
totally.
the Aintree Fox Hunters winner, the 4 from Cheltenham. And if I was to have a bet, I'd probably say Music Drive. Getting the £6.
I was going to say that. I was just about to say that. This is a longer trip than Gracchus-to-Bond won over at Aintree. Music Drive has shown already that she can carry that. He can carry that sort of weight around here. Gina in the plate, as we've talked about extensively. Ellie is a fantastic pilot, but Gina's Gina.
Smaller field would probably suit Music Drive a bit more as well, because the early hustle and bustle probably didn't help him so much at Cheltenham and the Fox Hunters, and it was his class that probably got him through the race. But yeah, no, I think that's a very good race.
Yeah, exactly. So the 5 to 7, also known as 6:55, we've got the Cheltenham and Southworth Racing Club Mares Open Hunter Chase. We've just missed a massive key detail about the 6:20, which is outrageous. It's the Jonathan Neeson Memorial Open Hunters Chase, which mentioned this morning on Nick's show, and Lydia Hislop and co have put a huge amount of work into getting this away, and it's a really great initiative. It
is because it kind of won't really be the same without having Jonathan there. He's been a fantastic man for our sport, a proper enthusiast, and he's been sorely missed this season. And no, fantastic to have a race named after him, and I hope that it continues for many, many years in the future, because it really is brilliant. And fair play to Lydia. I know her and Jonathan were very close, so that's really good from her to have arranged it all.
Yeah, 100%. We nearly missed that, but we just about rescued it, Joe.
Well done.
The 5 to 7 is the Will Milburn trained Cullen Hills at the top of the market is 13 to 8. Paddy Barlow rides that this time, which I think is no bad thing. Obviously, Will Easterby is no bad jockey either, but Paddy's claiming the 3. He's back on after winning on her in her point, I should say. Walking out for Les Jefford with Anna Johnston claiming 7 is 50. And then you've got late night fumble at 5 to 2, all loved up at 20 to 1, and a couple of more even bigger prices. Again, Jackson Fennell's Grenadine Savers 33 to 1, and it's being disrespected by the market. There can be some really generous prices in these races online, just because no one's got a bloody clue. And if me and you are struggling to find winners, realistically, me and you are going to back 3 or 4 winners at absolute best tomorrow. That'd be a good do. And if we're studying this stuff all the time, and the likes of Darren Pearce and people who are actual experts on these topics, you can't go through the cards. So if we can't, then what chance does the casual Friday night punter got, really? And there is some wild prices, and there will probably be some quite interesting prices if you keep an eye on things tomorrow. But we digress slightly. Who do you fancy in this one?
Cullen Hills is rock solid. She's just a fantastic mare. Obviously, did a lot of winning a couple of years ago. Great to see her win a race under rules the other day. She deserved that. Walking out again, absolutely rock solid. 3 mile 1.5 on a stiff track. I'm just not sure if that will suit her. She's been running well over 2.5 around Ludlow, and most of her wins have come around places like Badbury Rings and Bratton Down. You'd have to say if Late Night Fumble is if she's back to the form she was in before her injury, she's a very good horse. I know her well because we've run against her a lot, to be completely honest. Her last 2 runs, I think we've had horses finish second to her. With the last run before she ran it and won the intermediate final a couple of years ago, we've second to her as well. We've run against her an awful lot. She's been a very good horse. Obviously had an awful long time off, but the Ellis and Andrews team know how to get one fit. They know how to train the family, and the family have a very good record around there. And you'd have to say because that ground won't worry her as well. As long as she's well within herself, I'd say that she's got the back class to probably show up and beat these horses. To be completely honest with you.
So the prices then. So she's third favourite as it stands right now, 5 to 2.
Yeah,
probably the one to be with.
Say so, yeah.
Okay. So the Brooklands Watches Golden Miller Chronograph Open Hunters Chase. These names are getting better as we go. Law of Gold, absolute rock solid at the top of the market. in what's a wide open race at 11-2. When I say he's rock solid, what I mean is he's a pretty solid yardstick to measure the rest of the book off, isn't he? Norton Hill for Will Biddick with trained by Harry Ryle is second in, same price. Here comes McCoy, which is my fancy in the race, with Robbie David on with Miss Liberty Stone. Is it 6-1? Django, Venetia Collins, and sorry, Venetia Collins, Vicky Collins, Tor Collins, and Fred Phillipson Stowe, and Jeffrey's Cross of Skelton's at 7-1 is a dangerous lurker. Amron Sage, you guys have got in there at 10-1. Henry Bailey's horse. I'm just going to keep going. If I just can't go through all these, can I? Samuel Tolley to shut up by now.
19 runners, so.
Yeah, but they're the top ones in the betting. Playing 4 places with a lot of bookmakers. I'm sure some will probably even go 5. I think Here Comes McCoy is interesting. It just has the air of a plot to me. Not exactly a huge gamble when it's third in the market, but I don't know. I just think, obviously, a trainer who's unfamiliar to most, less said the better, I suppose. But was come out of Ollie Murphy's yard and pulled up on its last start. Ridiculously consistent. 3-3-1-1-3. Second pulled up. What do you say?
Yeah, no, he's absolutely rock solid. I was actually fun enough there at Lingfield when he ran last night, and that was like proper Lingfield attritional ground. So maybe the return to better ground would help. But if you look through, though, most of his form is on a wetter surface. Most of his form is on wetter ground. But
and that's why you're here, Joe. You see, I'm just having a cursory look and making opinions.
He's rock solid. We've got Amron Sage. It's brilliant for us. We've got a local group, local syndicate. I mean, for them guys to go to Cheltenham and have a run is fantastic. There's a lot of people in the syndicate that have had shares in horses with us for years. So we're just delighted to give those guys a night out that they deserve, which is brilliant. But he stays 4 miles. He won very well at Kingston over 4 miles. Things didn't really quite get the rub of the green at Costa last amount. They crawled and sprinted, didn't really suit him. But he'll stay all day long, and if he could nick a first 4 finish, that'd be fantastic. And it's kind of been a plan for a long time as well to come here with him. The trip will suit, so hopefully he'll run well. But I'd struggle to look past Laura Gold. He pulled up in the race last year, but it was very different ground. It was heavy ground. He got beat in a 2-runner race around High Easter when he had to try and make all, and it didn't really suit him. They chucked a visor on him last time out at High Easter again in a 2-runner race against the same horse, and he turned the form around. That horse was Aramax. Aramax had won. He's won 5 now this year. He's won since then at Dingley again, and I think he's vying for leading horse at the minute. So that form's rock solid. Couldn't take anything away from that. David Kemp is fantastic trainer when it comes this time of year, and Dale, we don't need to say any more about him, but I just think he's rock solid, and he's probably the horse to. I've gone boring with a favourite, but I just think that he'll run a very good race and should be bang there, and I'd be delighted to see the old horse win again. It'd be fantastic.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, and finally in the 8:05, it's going to be past my bedtime by that time, Joe. I'm going to have to hire a helicopter to get me back to Lincolnshire in time with this leg of mine. So the Royal Gloucestershire Hussars Open Hunter Chase, jet plane, top of the market, Jack Andrews, Dan Skelton. High stakes player for Tom Lacey, who's in amazing form wherever he's running them at the moment. Take All, Miles Osborne, Samuel Scott. And then another one for Skelton with Heidi Palin on board. And then the familiar colours of Rebel Dawn Rising with Dale Peters and David Kemp team up again. What do you make of this one?
I'd be in the high stakes player camp myself. I had a look at it the other day, and I thought his last run when he got beaten 10 1/4 lengths Ascot in a Grade 3 handicap chase off 133 probably wasn't a bad run behind horses like Victorino, 3 under 3.5, Hashting, Goshen, Wise Guy. You know, they're proper horses, and I thought this was a massive drop down in grade. You know, he was rated 136 only a couple of runs ago. As you said, Tom Lacey's horses are in absolute flying form, and I think that he's probably the horse there that's going to take a lot of beating, to be completely honest. Sean O'Connor takes a handy £5 off as well, and he was probably my bet in the race, to be completely honest.
Fair enough. Well, Joe, that's been really, really useful. I'm sure that the listeners have gleaned at least a few winners out of that clutch of opinions. And thanks for your time. Are you going to be there tomorrow night on the stag?
Yeah.
Or?
No, well, yeah. So I'm there working, and then joining up with the stag party afterwards. It's one of my best mates. It's his stag party, so very much looking forward to the weekend.
I think that last time I saw you at Cheltenham, you were also on a stag do. Is that true or not?
No, not true. I missed the meeting last year because another one of my friends was getting married. So
that was it. Similar story.
The boys have always managed to plan something busy for this weekend.
Fair enough. Well, Joe, best of luck with your runners tomorrow night, and best of luck with whatever you're back.
Brilliant. Thank you, Ben.
Cheers, Joe. Right. So I forgot to say when we did the social shout out that I was very impressed this week with Iton's videos about the ground and going. So fair play to them. It'll be too late for entries by the time this comes out, so let's hope they've had some. But yeah, I thought Adam, the clerk of the course, was putting out some very good videos, which I'm sure will be much appreciated by people. So yeah, long way to continue. Any other business, guys?
No, that's good for me.
All good for me.
You're listening to Pointing Pointers, the Point to Point podcast.